Hello people, this is Sonali, the Melodramatic Bookworm. If you've been here before, welcome back, and if you're new to my channel, welcome to the Melodramatic Bookworm family. It's time for Nonfiction November, and I'm here with my TBR for Nonfiction November. And by TBR for Nonfiction November, I mean to say that I have added a few nonfiction books to my monthly rotational tentative TBR because I can't go without my fiction books. I have to have fiction around me. So in today's TBR video, I'm going to be talking to you about all the books that I've added to my tentative TBR pool. These are the books from which I hope to choose for Nonfiction November. There's no guarantee that I will read all of them. There's no guarantee that I will pick only the books from this TBR pool, but I'm going to be concentrating on them. I have added 5 nonfiction books as part of Nonfiction November, which I will share with you first before I move on to the next category. So without any further ado, let's dive right into this video and let me share with you my TBR for November 2023. The first set of books are the nonfictions that I want to read this month, and the first book that I've picked is one that I brought here from India, and that is Dreyer's English, an utterly correct guide to clarity and style by Benjamin Dreyer. And this is a book that I wanted to read last year because I wanted to improve my writing. I don't know if you all know, but I do write a bit on the side. I have a couple of books out, etc, etc, etc. And I have been in a rut, in a writing slump for a long time now. So I thought this was going to be a book that was going to help me improve my style and maybe move forward with whatever writing projects I have right now. They are on hold, so I was hoping that this will help me. This is a highly acclaimed book, I must say, and I've heard nothing but good things about it, and I'm hoping that those good things will come and affect my life, my writing as well. Second is Homeless, Growing Up Lesbian and Dyslexic in India by K. Vaishali. I wanted to read this book in June, but that did not happen. So I'm hoping that I will be able to read it at least this month. This is K. Vaishali's memoir, and she talks about growing up lesbian and dyslexic in India, and we know that the situation in India for queer people is not ideal. There's a lot of homophobia, there's a lot of illogical rules, and I feel like this is another glimpse into how Indian society affects queer people. Looking forward to it. Next is A River in Darkness, One Man's Escape from North Korea by Masaji Ishikawa, and this is an ebook that I have, and I have been wanting to read this for a long time, but this is a book that I hadn't heard anything about before I saw this on a list, and I was like, I want to know what happens because we know of how dictatorial North Korea is, and I want to read what exactly happened, what were the details surrounding it. The next book I want to read is False Allies, India's Maharajas in the Age of Ravi Verma by Manu S. Pillai. This is a thick book, and I've heard that it is very well researched and that Manu S. Pillai has documented Ravi Verma's travels through 5 states and 5 Maharajas, and we know that Ravi Verma was a prolific artist, and to see these kings through his lens and what his paintings depicted, I'm really interested to see where he takes it. I have never read Manu S. Pillai before. I've heard nothing but good things about him, and I really want to find out what it is about his writing that captivates people so much. Next is Recipes for Sad Women by Hector Abad. This was a gift from a very dear friend, and I haven't been able to read it so far, even though I did start it last year. This is a book that the author, in the blurb, they claim that it's not a cookbook, it's not a novel, but when you feel sad, you want some recipes that will comfort you. So this has some of those, not literally. This is just small, it's like a chapbook. I feel the weight of it even as I'm holding it. Okay, I just flipped through it, and now I want to just stop filming, stop reading everything else, and I want to start reading this book. Okay, so the next set of books, there were 2 videos that I was planning to make this month, but I don't know if either of them will happen because it's just way too many books for me to read. At least space out your prize announcement, right? Anyway, the first is the Booker Prize, which I wanted to read the shortlist for and make a prediction video which book I think will win the prize. And I have 2 books that I've borrowed from the library. The first one is This Other Eden by Paul Harding. I've started this book. I'm about 18 pages in, and I'm finding the writing to be lyrical. It just transports you to another place, etc., etc. But I haven't made any progress. I started this last month. No progress yet. And the second book is The Bee Sting by Paul Murray. I have no idea what this book is about, and this is thick. Oh wait, it has 600 pages. The Booker Prize announcement is on 26th of November. There are 6 books that I'll need to read. I don't know if I will make it. If I make it, it'll be a miracle. But and the second prediction video was actually going to be the first that I posted, because the winner announcement for the JCB prize will be on 18th, and there are 5 books that have been shortlisted. I don't have any of them. I don't know if the library will have them. The ebooks are like super expensive, but I don't know what to do, because I don't think I will be able to give so much of my attention to 5 books to do a critical evaluation of them and then do a prediction video. Same with the Booker Prize as well. Anyway, the next set of books that I want to read are also from a vlog that I want to put up this month. I just have 4 books remaining, one of which I have on my Kindle. I've requested them from the library, but they are not available yet, and I want to get this video out this month, but that is contingent on the library getting the books. So those were the vlogs and etc, etc, etc. And now moving on to the fictions, and the first book is this one, Bookshops and Bone Dust by Travis Baldree. This is the prequel to Travis Baldree's previous book, which came out in 2022, I think, if I'm not mistaken, and that was Legends and Lattes. But this I got as a review copy from Pan Macmillan Australia, so thank you Pan Macmillan Australia for the review copy, for the gifted copy, and I am so excited to read this. I like lost my mind when I saw it in the mail. My conundrum is I now have to go and read Legends and Lattes before this one, because that book technically came out first. Viv's career with the renowned mercenary company Rackham's Ravens isn't going as planned. Wounded during the hunt for a powerful necromancer, she's packed off against her will to recuperate in the sleepy beach town of Monk. So far from the action that she worries she'll never be able to return to it. What's a thwarted soldier of fortune to do? Spending her hours at a struggling bookshop in the company of its foul-mouthed proprietor is the last thing Viv would have predicted, even though it may be exactly what she needs. Still, adventure isn't far away. A suspicious traveler in grey, a gnome with a chip on his shoulder, a summer fling, and an improbable number of skeletons prove Merc to be more eventful than Viv could ever have expected. Sometimes right things happen at the wrong time, and sometimes we find ourselves in the stories we experience together. Okay, and that sounds like... Next is a book that I've said so many times that I will read it, I will read it, I will read it. But did I read it yet? Nope. Did I do a reading vlog for it yet? Nope. Do I hope to read it this month and do a reading vlog? Yes, absolutely. And that book is Yellowface by Rebecca F. Kuang. And I'm not going to say anything other than that. I'm just going to put this aside. Just know that this is on my TBR for November. Anyway, next is A Minor Detail by Adania Shibli. This is a Palestinian author who has spoken about the horrors happening in Palestine in the 112 pages that this book is, and this was made available for free on Kindle by Fitzcarraldo Editions, I think, and I am really looking forward to reading this book and to educating myself more about what is happening in Palestine and the horrors that are being inflicted upon innocent civilians over there. Next is a book that I am like over the moon to have in my hands right now, okay, and that is from one of my favorite authors of all time. I would do anything for her, and that author is Jhumpa Lahiri, and the book is Roman Stories, and this is a translation of her stories from Italian into English. We see how the tide has changed. We see how she has gone from writing exclusively in English to writing in Italian and then translating those works into English, and I am so looking forward to it. This is a very short book, like just about 200 pages, and I know that I'm going to devour it. And the thought of stories and languages and translations, it's just taking me back to the time when just Jhumpa Lahiri reached into me and just plucked out my heart and put it back again. When I read In Other Words, it was just so filling and so warm, and I'm sure that this is also a book that's going to leave me feeling that way. Next is a book that I wanted to read in October. I didn't add it to my TBR because I realized quite late that the TV show for this book, the adaptation, was releasing in October. And I was like, oh, how did I forget? But I never got around to reading it. It's been a year since I've owned this book. And anywho, that book is Lessons in Chemistry by Bonnie Garmus. And I've heard so many great things about this one. I've heard people gush about it, just feeling like a wow. This is about chemist Elizabeth Zott, who is not your average woman. In fact, Elizabeth Zott would be the first to point out that there is no such thing. But it's the early 1960s and her all-male team at Hastings Research Institute takes a very unscientific view of equality. Except for one, Calvin Evans, the lonely, brilliant, Nobel Prize nominated grudge holder who falls in love with, of all things, her mind. True chemistry results. But like science, life is unpredictable, which is why a few years later, Elizabeth Zott finds herself not only a single mother, but the reluctant star of America's most beloved cooking show, Supper at 6. Elizabeth's unusual approach to cooking, combined 1 tablespoon acetic acid with a pinch of sodium chloride, proves revolutionary. But as her following grows, not everyone is happy because, as it turns out, Elizabeth Zott isn't just teaching women to cook, she's daring them to change the status quo. I see why people love this book. Just from that blurb, I see why people love this book, and I'm like 90% sure that I will love this book as well. Next is another book that I wanted to read in October, but I never got around to reading it because there were like so many books that I want to read. But this was also a gifted copy from Pan Macmillan Australia, so thank you Pan Mac for the copy again. And that book is Learned by Heart by Emma Donoghue. This is the story of two women connecting or bonding at a crucial time in their lives. I won't say more because I've already spoken about this book in a previous video, which is my October TBR, but I don't know how else to say it, but I am really excited to read it. That excitement hasn't lessened. Next are some library books that I got, and the first of those is Ace, What Asexuality Reveals About Desire, Society and the Meaning of Sex by Angela Chen. I started reading this book a few weeks ago, but I had to return it to the library, so I returned it and I thought, okay, let's just give it a couple of weeks before I get it back again and before I jump right in. This is going to be the month that I read and finish this book. I can feel it. Procrastinators unite. I am like president. So the next set of books are the last 4 in the Heroes of Olympus series by Rick Riordan. The 4 books. Okay, so I wanted to read Percy Jackson and the Chalice of the Gods last month, and then I realized that it followed the Heroes of Olympus series. It went Percy Jackson and the Olympians, and then Heroes of Olympus, and then Percy Jackson and the Olympian 6, which is the Chalice of the Gods. So I was like, I'm going to do this right. I did finish reading The Lost Hero, the first in the Heroes of Olympus series last month, which you will see in my wrap-up video. Yeah, these are the last 4 books on my November 2023 TBR. So you see, even if I say that I will read only a few of these books, I still have a lot of reading to do. But you know what makes me really happy? This set of books, which I don't own, which I will rectify sometime in the future. But this set of 5 books is just like puts a smile on my face. So I don't know if you can see it, but that is my November 2023 TBR. I'm tired, man. Don't fall me. So once again, that was my November 2023 TBR. What did you think of this video? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Which of these books have you read? Which ones are your favorites? Which ones do you want to add to your TBR? And what books are you planning to read in November 2023? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. If you like this video, please like it and share it to spread the word. And if you like my content and would like to see more from me, don't forget to hit subscribe and click on the bell icon beside the subscribe button to get notified as and when I post new videos. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Until next time, keep reading, keep watching, and add melodrama to your life.